which would be unfortunate.
I mean, it's great they still have eligibility, but like once you get COVID, there's a whole list of medical problems that ensue. We don't even understand like the full extent of long-term symptoms and like conditions that come out of like contracting COVID, fighting your way through it, and coming back out of it. There was a correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was some report that came out a couple of days ago about student athletes or like professional athletes who contracted COVID, got over it, and then came out of it with health problems, with heart problems. Like that's long lasting. Like sure, you have a season after that. That doesn't mean you can play.
It's long lasting, but how many have had that? Like, what's the occurrence of that really?
We don't know.
Yeah, see, it's rare though. It's rare because there's not that many.
You know what's not rare, and this is like worldwide. It's a universal truth. This isn't rare. People are stupid. Like it came out in the third non-segment news we just released was that University of Alabama in 4 or 5 days had 560 positive COVID tests. It's your first week of school and there's 560 people testing positive.
Yeah, and that's
oh my gosh.
That's down there right now, but we're looking at it. I mean, UW, they've already canceled this season. So they're going to have time to look at these conferences like the ACC, the Big 12, the SEC, and look at what they're doing for their COVID preventions. And Pac-12 should be in a better situation as they'll learn from those mistakes and change, hopefully, how they're protecting against it and what they're using.
Your optimism in the human race is applause worthy. Absolutely applause worthy. I just wanted to point something out here. The U.S. is currently, or at least very close to, if not the leading country in terms of the world for positive COVID tests. And that's scary when you think about there are countries in the world right now who have 0 ongoing cases of COVID, and the U.S. is still leading by thousands upon thousands upon thousands. I don't know how optimistic you can possibly be to think that between now and springtime, somehow, a vast majority, if not a majority or all of the population of the United States somehow gets their stuff together and says, hey, you know what? Like life, like caring about people, kindness, all of these things, like, hey, let's be smart and let's get rid of this disease before we start things up.
Well, I'm not that optimistic, but I like to look at it as the Pac-12 has some of the best medical schools. So yes. They're leading in that field, like UW, especially with their testing.
Hey, we go to one.
Yeah. I look at it as if they could have a different season kind of, in the spring. And there's probably about 150 people total, including the players, coaches, and personnel on a college football team. If they could test them every single player weekly, every single person weekly, if not every couple days, and I get that it'll cost a lot of money, but then if that's what it takes to play a season, where then the school will be making that much money and more off the season, why not do that?
I mean, okay,